Hello, this is the 495, and I am your host today, Glenn Prezzano, publisher of Merrimack Valley Magazine.
Yeah, who?
Who? I have no idea.
Seen you in a long time.
It's been a bit. Well, Doug Sparks, our regular host, is on vacation. He's, I'm sure, hiking. I think he's staying in a yurt somewhere, probably foraging for mushrooms.
Sounds like
we've had
Doug.
some rain.
Yeah.
And I know he was looking forward to last weekend because of the rain last week we had. So I think that he's earned some time off, and I'm still not sure. You told me where to look, Lou, but I'm still not sure where to look.
Yep.
But he's earned some time off, and so I am the sub-host. And we have a very interesting guest today, a former radio personality in the Merrimack Valley, Lysa Pelletier, who we can't hear right now.
Oh, she's here.
Is she here?
I was waiting for the intro.
Great.
Hi, Lysa.
Hi, everybody.
Stylist extraordinaire and style editor of Merrimack Valley Magazine, both fashion and home decor and food very often as well.
Sometimes. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to be here.
Where you been, actually? That's kind of a thing. You've been not over the airwaves or digital airwaves, whatever they are, for a little bit.
For the Valley Girls.
Yeah. What's been going on the last couple of years?
Oh, geez. Well, first of all, I need you to bring me back in a big way.
I still get notices on the Facebook page. I still get people saying, such and such viewed the Valley Girls, such and such liked the Valley Girls. Yeah.
And you know what, Glenn? I have a laundry list of advertisers for my podcast, so get ready.
A laundry list?
Yes.
Wow.
It's a good list.
So now we're teasing something. That's good.
I don't want to say anything, guys, but I just got a notice on my phone that Doug Sparks is live now. So Doug is competing against his own show right now.
What? You
I gotta check out what's going on here.
Listen, that's the other thing Doug's doing. He's in his yurt, eating mushrooms and drinking tea. So the fact that he would live stream that really isn't surprising. The fact that he's live streaming against us.
Well, he's live streaming his daughter on a coloring book, so I guess that's not real competition.
I don't really right, because that's going to annihilate us.
That's the difference.
So that's the show, folks. So, but Lysa, seriously, for those that don't know, I mean, you've had an interesting, to say the least, couple of years.
Yes.
And how are you? I guess is the question. I think that the folks that were fans of the Valley Girl or Valley Girls would like to maybe know if they're not aware.
Well, right when Valley Girls kind of ended is when the gas explosions were happening in Merrimack Valley.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, my house was one of the hardest hits. So I really needed to pare down what I was doing on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. And unfortunately, Valley Girls had to be put on the back burner. But our family is back and our home is back and everybody is doing really well. And I'm ready to get back to being a Valley Girl.
Well, I was going to say the backdrop of your video is lovely.
It's all white. My mother says your house is so white. It's either like coming to heaven or an asylum. She's not sure which one. So it's a little bit of both now.
I was going to say, doesn't it depend on the day?
On the day.
On the day.
Yeah. But because we had so much, I don't know. I don't want to say the word bleak days because we had wonderful days during the explosions and the fire. Everything was so dark in my house for so long, like ashes and black walls. And I had to look at that for like a year that I wanted everything white.
Wow.
My contractor's like, what do you want for floors? White. What do you want for appliances? White. What do you want for countertops? He's like, I guess you want white. I'm like, yes. So the color's coming back.
Yeah, well, I have to tell you what, I know that for people that obviously, didn't talk to you during that time period, they may not appreciate the manner in which you handled the challenges. And this because I've said it to you, I've been amazed at your your grace, and your good humor in the fight in the face of such a overwhelming challenge. And you never missed a beat with us, never missed an issue. Continued to style everything. Nothing, not like it was. It was as if when you were working with us, nothing had changed. Everything. Yet you were dealing with so much. And I know that you also experienced a lot of generosity from people throughout the region, throughout the valley. Maybe share a little bit of that.
Well, when it happened, I just remember everyone being safe. So that was like, once I knew everyone was in their place, everything else could be dealt with. Not that it wasn't hard and there wasn't really dark days, but Harry was at school, Hannah was at school, my husband was on his way home, I was on the way, my mother was not here. Unfortunately, we lost our family pet, which was probably the worst thing that could have happened. Yeah. And the most challenging for my children, but we were still like a unit. So, and we knew that we had to live our lives as normally as we could. And every text and every email and every emoji that we got just got us through. Literally the Merrimack Valley and beyond got us through.
Yeah.
Because even now during COVID, you hear these horrible stories of people that are unemployed and who are going backwards, and what's getting them through is support from the community and their loved ones. And it really does lift you up physically and mentally out of bed every morning. Yeah. Like, we would come to visit the house and our lawn was getting mowed every week by a professional, and we still don't know who it is.
Right. And see, that's amazing, and I know you had some places that were providing you with some food and things like that.
I have to give a shout out to this wonderful man. His name is Rick Prezzano. And I've asked you if he has any relations to you, and I feel bad because we've been trying to get in touch with him. He owns or owned King Subs in Andover.
Okay.
And my daughter works for Les Fleurs, the flower shop next door, and he found out about our house, and we had lost everything. So a week later, he brings over a note to Hannah, like literally like a ripped little note like this. And he wrote on it, "I will feed the Gibbs family for 3 months." Did not know who we were.
Yeah, see, that's what I wanted you to get to, because I know that story, and I think it's amazing.
Amazing. And he, you feel like, we're like crying. We can't even believe it. This guy was going to give us breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 3 months. And we had no idea who we were. So it was kind of weird finally when Thanksgiving rolled around and we were in a hotel, and, I said to Bill, maybe you should go meet this guy and at least shake his hand. And my husband, did a lot of crying, but it was more grateful cries as opposed to sad crying. That's how he emitted his emotions. So I said, why don't you and Harrison go and get a sub? And it was kind of weird. Like, you don't want to walk in going, "Where's my free sub?" But so they walk in and, Bill couldn't talk. And he gets back home, and I said, "Well, how was it?" And Harrison says, Dad couldn't talk. And I said, "Well, he managed to say large steak and cheese, because that's what he's eating right now." So,
well, anyway, Lysa, there are always priorities.
I don't know. So we developed this amazing relationship with Rick Prezzano, who has sold the place, and we're hoping that he's well. If anybody knows where the owner of King Subs is living or has his contact information, we want to know how he's doing, because we visited him like every week for till we moved into our new house.
Yeah, and I think I think you experienced that, and I think that if there's a silver lining, it's that, right? In
so many silver linings
in a difficult situation, and I think
absolutely,
without going down too far down the path. I think that's what a lot of us, perhaps the silver lining will be in the current situation in the pandemic, is that some things will emerge that will be better, for the future. But let's go back to the past, if we can, a little further.
How far back?
We're wicked far. So, and you had asked me as we were preparing for this. You said ask your wife to ask me a question. So
Oh yeah.
I asked my wife Lysa, what would you want to ask Lysa that you haven't already asked her?
Right.
In the past, and she came up with a good one right out of the gate, and
Oh geez, I'm nervous.
well, no, it's kind of interesting because you were a private school girl, right? Both
St. Mary's.
You're a St. Mary's girl, graduate like my wife.
Yeah.
And we won't say when it was, but.
No, we're not going to say
we're
when.
We're not going to talk about when.
It's bad enough I don't have Lou's really good lighting right now in my house.
Your lighting is fine, and you've got that pop of color, so it's all working.
That's right.
You know what I mean? That's
Right.
really good. I'm realizing looking on the camera that I'm very gray right now, which, oops.
Okay.
What are you going to do?
The colors start to come back in your face.
Can I ask my question, lady? Let me ask
Yes.
my question. Okay, and this is actually from my wife, Lysa.
Okay.
So, and it comes from let me just ask the question. Did having to wear school uniforms through all of your school years sort of influence your desire and interest to get into the fashion business? And take us through that. Take us through that,
It definitely made me more interested in clothing outside of school. And my mom, she grew up with like 11 brothers and sisters. They didn't have a lot, but my mom had an amazing sense of style. So growing up, she would take me to Essex Street every Saturday, and we would go into Russell's, and we'd go into Cherry and Webb's, and she didn't have a lot of money, but I would get like a barrette or a pair of socks, and we always looked well-dressed for very little money. So, and then I started getting into it as a young child, matching my clothes on my own and figuring out what I was going to wear on the weekends when I was climbing out of the uniform.
How old?
Oh, I can remember like 8, 9, 10 years old. Yeah. And then finally, when I got to high school, I was just, it was just my jam. I mean, my friends would come over, borrow jewelry, borrow this. And, but I think I was always interested in fashion. It just made me want to get dressed up even more on the weekends and stuff.
Right. So, yeah, so there was an influence there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And anything I could do with that uniform to make more fashionable, I did.
You were allowed to
like roll up the skirt so that it was a little higher.
What?
Wow.
What?
Because the Central Catholic boys were down the street.
This is a podcast, so go ahead. We're fine.
Maybe a necklace over the collar, but the nuns would call me out on it also.
Oh, I would love to have been a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh,
Nope.
there goes Hannah.
There goes Hannah. Yep.
Phantom daughter.
Great. So after high school, take us through. How did you become this stylist, this in demand, and Lou, like, it's not a joke. Lysa, I know I'm busy. I can fit you in, a month and a half on Tuesday.
I'm so grateful for the work. So
but she's very busy. How'd you get so busy? How did you get so you're in high school, you're doing all this fashion stuff. So you get out of high school, you're finally done with the uniforms. You can dress however you'd like every day of the week, not just on weekends. What happens?
I go to school for fashion merchandising and marketing. They still don't tell me how to be a stylist or anything like that. I used to look at magazines and say, who's dressing the models? Who's putting that chair in the corner? Who's doing that vase? Who's doing the set design? No one told me that in college. There wasn't even, the word photo stylist wasn't even in anyone's vocabulary. But I kept saying, someone has to do this. And I would look at the credits and it would say styling by. So I just figured if I put myself in the environment of fashion, I would somehow get there.
What was your first gig?
Did retail, did mannequins and set design for Jordan Marsh. Now I'm really dating myself.
Really?
So
the first sort of big gig was Jordan Marsh?
Yes. I remember my fabulous first boss, Stephen Fay. I hope you're listening. He called me up for the interview and he said, I want you to bring your portfolio. And I said to my mother, I don't have a portfolio. What the hell?
What's a portfolio?
So I brought my family photo album because I knew he had a sense of humor. I'm like, this is my mother. This is my dad.
Should we explain to anybody young out there that the portfolio was the thing you had before there were websites?
Yeah.
And it was like in a big black case.
Yeah.
Before the Instagram page.
Yes, before Instagram.
Yeah.
So he interviewed me and hired me, on the spot, and I worked with him for years. And I'm telling you, I owe so much to that man as far as my self-esteem and self-confidence in what I do.
So a regional chain,
Yeah.
with
And
had stores throughout the valley.
yeah, they started hearing about this crazy girl in Burlington who would dress the mannequins like Madonna, and so they would ask me to go travel all over the other Jordan Marshes to, and then I had another boss. Steve had, gone to another store, and I told her what I really wanted to do. And she was lucky enough to give me a name of a stylist in Boston. I was lucky enough to get the name, and she was willing enough to let me go. And I interviewed with this woman who was a stylist in Boston. And at the time there was no agencies, and she hired me on the spot. And I trained with her for like 3 years. We traveled all over the country doing catalogs. And then, agencies started popping up that represent myself for hair and makeup and for styling.
Right.
And the agency that I'm with now is called Anchor Artists. And it's almost like a modeling agency, but for the creative end.
So you were actually relatively, young in your 20s, I'm assuming. And,
Yes.
and you were actually going around the country doing gigs. Doing
Yeah, I was
styling
assisting.
gigs. Yeah.
I was assisting, maybe
Yeah.
28, 29 years old. Right.
Yeah.
But like big catalogs at the time,
What kind of catalogs?
like, I don't even know if J. Jill was at the time, but like Appleseeds and Chadwick's and a lot of clothing companies
Mm-hmm.
and Filene's
Right.
and a lot of shoe companies, Rockport and Reebok and, all those. She had all these accounts. So at Timberland, I learned how to do product and how to do on figure.
Mm-hmm.
So there's product styling, and then there's on figure, which is the models and
So
stuff.
all those things that people get in the mail, because guys like me sold them something, and then they shows up and
Yeah,
and they go, and throw it in the garbage.
it's all my work.
All that effort, but it's a tremendous amount of work, and obviously through the decade and a half that Merrimack Valley Magazine has been around, I've learned a lot about what goes into these things,
Right.
and it really is an amazing process, and all of the little things that you may not even think to see over the
Right.
years. I've looked to go, oh wait a minute, we can't, you got to get that out of there, or somebody will take a photograph and say, isn't that a great photograph? And I'll go, yeah, but there's like a tree sticking out of their head,
Right. Yeah. It's like that, but tenfold when you're doing an actual live photo
but you
shoot.
don't see those things originally, and it took a lot of people, including our creative director Steve Pennepy, to be like, yeah, no, you're not seeing this, you're not seeing, and he schooled me on this, and,
Right.
And quite frankly, as we progressed, we got in the magazine got better looking. I think it was always good from a content perspective, but we got better looking, and
Right.
then. Lou, it was right around the beginning of 2016 we started really getting good looking. Yes. Lisa entered our lives in toward the end of 2015. Am I correct on the dates, or am I?
Oh my God, I'm so bad with dates.
Yeah, I think it was. And and what's interesting about what you brought to the table for us was that it wasn't just what you were specifically working on. What you were doing in the areas that we asked you to work on spilled over to
Yes.
other things, and so we started saying, well, like, do it, the way Lisa would do it, and and then of course we've gotten you involved in all kinds of great projects. I mean, you've done I don't know
Right.
how many covers for us, and you've styled food, and
I get so excited about everything. I love it so much still.
what part of it? What is the most exciting, or does it depend on the day?
It's because it's so different every week and every day. Like I'm doing the magazine this week. So, I did laydowns for Christmas yesterday. Tomorrow I'm doing home stuff at a beautiful estate outside. Next week I'm doing, a catalog, for laydowns. And then the week after that, I'm doing 4 days of models for another client. So my head has to change creativity all the time.
Tell people what a laydown. Tell people what a laydown is. What does that mean?
Well, a laydown is when you do like a fabulous sweater with like a pair of shoes and like, an overhead shot. That's a laydown. Or a stack would be like a stack of sweaters, all like J. Crew does these fabulous stacks with one link, all the product shots that you see in a catalog.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, those right now, because of COVID, are going crazy because half the models don't want to work, which I understand, because they're the only ones on set that are allowed to take their mask off at this point.
Right.
And if people can get away with just being able to show their clothes beautifully, not on a model, that's the route that they're going.
I mean, do you enjoy that as much, or is that even more of a challenge than working with models?
I love it. I love it both. I mean, I love it both because like sometimes I'm just in my own creative space and it's quiet and I need a couple of days of just doing that. And then I'm like, okay, I need to be with a bunch of people and models and hair and makeup and producers. And
I don't believe that last part you just said. Sorry.
what?
Lou picked up on it too. You said things are quiet with you?
Yeah, I need quiet. I need my quiet time.
You need the quiet time, but you're not quiet. Come on now.
No, but sometimes
I don't go on the photo shoots, just in case anybody knows. I don't really I've been asked not to interfere, essentially. So,
but
I don't go. But I hear stories, Lysa.
Yeah, I know.
And quiet never has been used. That term has never been used.
You don't go out of choice, Glenn, or you don't go because they don't let you go anymore?
I basically
we don't let 'em.
I basically got kicked off of photo shoots by my own team years ago.
Yeah. Oh.
I like when Glenn stops by. You know why? Because he sees how much damn work goes into it.
I already knew that. No, so now like our cover shoot for July, September, October issue. Okay, our Owning Greatness, Women Leaders. I showed up,
that was so fun.
At the end for sort of a hi, how are you? Thank you very much for all coming out. I mean, I was there maybe 5 minutes. And then I left. That's my role at this point, Lou. So
yes.
And I let my team do their thing because they're okay at it. They're not bad,
I have to give you props for that, Glenn. You are one person who can delegate work and know that the people that you're hiring are just going to get it done without being up there. You know what?
And I've said publicly.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I've said publicly for years that. The reason why the magazine really works is because we have access to such tremendous talent throughout the greater Merrimack Valley. And frankly, people are willing to work at below market rates because we're not Boston, we're not New York. I can't, pay people, in this, media world, in this environment that we're in a way that would really just sort of justify what the talent, what the input actually is. So we get tremendous value out of everybody. And I may not pay them as much, but I have full expectations that they do world-class work, and it works out most of the time. So, right back at you for putting your best foot forward for us, as you would with anybody else.
Well, creatives don't do half-ass. Creatives get out on, Lisa, you get out on the set, and you want to do the best picture. You're not worried about the paycheck. I mean, obviously, at some point you are, but when you're out there, you want to put you want to put your best art forward.
Yes, especially if my name's going on it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I tell people this all the time, especially the youngins, no offense, but the phone is a big thing in their hands.
Yep.
And when you're on set, you don't go on the phone unless it's an emergency. And you have respect for the client. I'm not going to be talking to other clients while I'm on set with another client. I'll do it at lunch. I'll tell them afterwards. But when you say yes to a gig, if they're giving you $10 or $800 for that day, if you said yes, then you need to bring it. So you shouldn't take the job if you're not going to bring it. So you have to remember, even during the fire, I didn't take as much work as I wanted to, but the work that I did take, I couldn't go there and just be like, oh, woe's me. I had to do my job. So people have to remember, if they said yes to a gig and it was their choice, then bring everything you have.
Yeah, as I said earlier, I'm a testimonial to that fact. It was like she never missed a beat. She came in, cracked jokes, looked fabulous. I mean, and just and we planned out the issues. I do have a question for you though. You started in fashion.
Yep.
When did you're sort of doing the home decor stuff come in, or is that just a natural extension? Because for us, you've done you started doing home decor, and then home decor quickly led to your doing a lot of food styling. As well. So, talk a little bit about, sort of your evolution of going from that experience in your 20s, doing the catalog photo shoots to sort of all the other stuff
Right.
that it's evolved into?
Well, I started noticing, because it was mostly fashion at the beginning. And then I remember starting to do a lot of Hasbro gigs, and they would have people playing the game, like the families around the table. And they'd be like, Lysa, do you mind getting a couch and some frames? And, it used to make me nervous, that aspect of it, because some stylists just want to do fashion. But I was like, ooh, yeah, sure. And then coordinating the background with the clothes that they were wearing. And then I started get more gigs from the agency, like that, people just want you to shop for the, just do props or just do furniture. And it was called a shop and drop. That's what it's called. So you shop for all these fabulous things, and then you drop it off.
I thought it was shop till you drop. Shop and drop?
Well, yeah, that's usually me. And it was a natural extension. I mean, because I remember when my kids were small, I'd have all these little vignettes around the house, like all my pocketbooks on a shelf that they couldn't touch, and a pair of shoes on the stove.
You actually did that in the house?
Yes, it made me happy. I had like a dress hanging on my front door, so when I came down the stairs, I would see this fabulous dress every day.
Just randomly? Like what you were going to wear?
No, it was just a fabulous dress that made me happy every time I came down the stairs. It would be standing there. Or, I hung it on the inside of my front door. So I love it all. I love it all. I love putting one flower in a vase and taking a picture of it.
Wait, let's get back to this hanging stuff randomly around your house. Were your kids allowed to do that too?
My kids can do whatever they want in their space.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you never edited what they did?
No, they were always good.
Yeah?
It was always good.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm having a hard time with that, but all right.
Let's now that you got here, because Glenn and I are incredulous about some of this stuff. Let's talk about the dichotomy between female fashion and male, I'll call it fashion just for the sake of conversation, because the objects are opposite. In other words, when you guys delve into fashion, you want to look like you put a lot of time and effort into it and put together a great look. Guys don't mind being stylish, but they don't want to look like they put too much work in it.
Too hard.
Yeah, they don't want to look like they tried too hard.
Right.
So how do you work with that? What would you tell guys who say, look, I want to look stylish, but I don't want to look like I put all my effort into my own vanity here.
Mm-hmm. You don't want to walk out the door with like the perfect scarf around your head and the perfect. Yeah. Well, first of all, my husband, he does leave the house, and I say, don't tell anybody what I do for a living, because that outfit is.
I wasn't going to go there.
Bad.
I wasn't going to go there about Bill, but
he's the best. I'm not going to change him, and he'll listen to me.
But I remember, I think it was only the second or third time I met him.
Was it after the fire?
It was, and it was, you guys were a little bit clothing challenged for a few days.
Oh, that must have been painful.
Oh.
I'm out of respect for Bill, I'm not going to say it. Let's just say I don't ever want to see that image of him or any other guy ever again, including myself.
Okay, I have to tell a funny story about that, because it's like the night, the fire is going on. I'm watching my house burn. Now I'm going to my brother John's house, we have nowhere to go. So we go to my brother John's house, and Bill stays. And my sister-in-law's got everything. She's got towels. She's got everything for us, because we don't have anything but the shirt on our backs. And, we don't have underwear. We don't have underwear. So she's got her little outfit for me to sleep in, like a t-shirt and shorts and a little underwear. And I was like, Amy, I can't. I need my Gap. I need my Gap underwear. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm not going to sleep. And here I am worried about the underwear I'm wearing that I'm not going to sleep. So we go in her room, and she opens. She was okay. Let's just like look in my underwear drawer and see. And I was just like, boom, boom, no. And then I was like, okay, these are good. And
By the way, that's what she does to all of our marketing partners that she pulls product from. Is she goes through their stuff and throws it around.
Yeah. It was
like a hurricane.
Some things were like, I don't have anything right now. But she went to the Gap that morning and got my hipster cotton underwear for me. So I had 5 pairs, and it made me so happy.
Let's pause right here for a moment and contemplate the fact that, over the past few months, Doug's had philosophy professors from UMass
Yeah.
Lowell on, and authors, and here we are talking about your underwear. So,
I'm really a smart person.
so when,
I'm really a smart person.
so Doug right now, if he's listening, he's just shaking his head.
That's right. It always comes down to the underwear. So I have to get back to Lou. So Lou,
Yes.
if you love just wearing jeans.
Yes.
what I mean?
You know
And
my style, which is very close to Bill's style.
Yes.
yes. But just get like a bunch. I say, don't try to change yourself. Just get a bunch of stuff that you love, and that's kind of your uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love a great pair of jeans and a really great comfortable button-down shirt.
Yep.
And you look great and presentable. It's not like you're not trying to be anybody. Maybe you could throw a sports jacket over it and go to dinner, and that would look really cool. Or change the shoes.
See,
But
it's the
I
art
do
of being
tell-
sophisticated without looking like you tried. Is
Yeah.
that it?
But I would try to do something outside your comfort zone, because when you do that, I don't know if you have like a plaid, really cool tweed blazer right now, but if you wore that with just a crew neck sweater out to dinner, you might be like, people be like, oh my God, it's a really nice blazer. And then you feel better about wearing it again.
Yeah.
Something that you wouldn't feel confident in wearing. Like, you have to wear it and see the reaction from other people and be like, I kind of felt good in that.
99% of the time, a sports jacket seems like too much to me.
Really?
Yeah, but I'm guessing a lot of guys like that. Again, you don't want to look like you don't want to look like you're vain. You don't want to look like you're trying too hard.
Right. You need one of those unstructured ones. They come like in small, medium, or large, like at J. Crew, and sometimes they're like denim or corduroy, and it's just almost like a sweater or a jacket.
Yeah.
But go that next level with your jeans and your shirt,
And I guess guys mess up most because they work with basics. I'm guessing guys have problems most with their footwear, right? Shoes are the big
Footwear.
thing. Yeah.
But there's so many out there now that are so cool looking that are so comfortable. They look like sneakers that are actually dress shoes.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing that I've noticed in fashion for men is that it's gotten more comfortable. So both shoes and things like jeans, I'm wearing jeans now that one of our local marketing partners introduced me to, that don't feel like jeans. They feel like sweatpants. Yet they're jeans.
Well, that's pretty damn good.
They're really comfortable. So we can achieve that look. Doesn't look like I'm trying that hard.
Yeah.
And the plus side is it's really more comfortable than what I used to wear.
Right. And people want comfort. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. They,
especially these days.
Yeah. The struggle for me on my feet, and other stylists and other people on their feet all day, is like finding really great shoes that are comfortable. And because we end up taking them off anyway and end up in Crocs, which is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But
so what are you wearing today now? Or are you just in bare feet?
No, I'm naked from the So.
Well, that's the era of Zoom and very.
And
good.
I love a high-low.
I said feet. I said, what are you wearing shoes? We're talking about shoes.
Jeans.
Vintage jeans. That's a whole other category. Oh, there you go.
Feel good to put heels on.
Okay, so you do have heels on, even though you're in your living room.
That's your 1:00 in the afternoon shoes right there.
They're gonna last till about 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Then she puts her better shoes on, and the fancy.
Yeah, then I put my Crocs on and go to work with Glenn.
Because it's my week.
You do not own a pair of Crocs.
Oh my God, I have 6 pairs.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
See,
like sandal type things that I can just go out into the yard and run around.
It's very informative, this show. See, you didn't know that, Lou. That's a little behind the scenes.
When you're working for the magazine and doing the styles, because Merrimack Valley Magazine has this great look, and you're such a huge part of it. When you're working for the magazine and you're styling a shot, or you're styling the models involved, do you have to struggle between with what you want to do and what's accessible to people? Like, for example, we all know fashion shows go over the top. They want to do something wild and crazy. And I know you probably want to do that and be flamboyant all the time, but you also have to keep it accessible to people, right?
For the community.
Yeah.
This I always tell Glenn, why can't we make it look like Vogue? And he's like, well, everyone has to, relate to it though on some level.
Yeah.
Especially the demographic. And he has allowed me to, put a model on top of an airplane with an amazing outfit.
I've allowed you. We've just taken the airplanes, and you've just talked people into letting you on their boats, and there's all kinds of spontaneous craziness that results in fabulous images
Right.
in our magazine and on our covers over the years that go well beyond what was planned or expected, simply because Lisa
Absolutely.
doesn't have she doesn't have the I can't ask, or it's not possible gene in her. So you've done some amazing things that were unexpected, and I think the airplane shots, that was one of our that was a 2016 cover at Plum Island Airport
Love.
where we shot that. And
Right.
then it was either, I think it was the following year, we were in Newburyport and we were supposed to be on the beach, and we were on the beach, but then we ended up downtown, and you ended up on not one, but two different boats.
We got ourselves on a boat.
Two boats.
I'm not afraid of asking for little things in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can
Can I use your boat?
Can we use your boat for a couple hours?
This guy not only had a boat, it was like a boat
Yeah.
that you could, sleep on. And I was just like, do you mind? Like, we just want to put the model. And he went to lunch and just gave us the keys. Like, he's like, I'm not going to be on it here. And I think we shot on it for like 2 hours. And I love people like that.
Yeah. Well,
because they get it.
Lou, if I tried that, I'd be taken away in
Yeah,
cuffs.
right. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, the answer's always no if you don't ask.
And those are, people are willing to
There you
share
go.
their boats and things like that, and maybe even their house. That's kind of one thing. But I know you do a lot of work where you go around and ask merchants, can I have that suit? Can I have that dress?
Yes.
Can I have that couch for a while? And those are the
Right.
conversations that always fascinate me, where someone would go, well, okay, take the couch.
And you know what's amazing? Some people, usually when it's for an editorial, like for Glenn's magazine, it's given to us because they're going to get credit.
Yeah.
So that's advertising, free advertising for them. So it's more like, can I borrow this? It's going to come back in the same condition and you will get credit. Now, if I do a catalog, which I just did for Chadwick's, the art director wanted to rent furniture from a wonderful store in Andover. Now that's going to cost them money because Chadwick's can't give them credit in the back of the catalog. It's not a
Right.
magazine.
Yeah.
So the client has to come up with a rental fee, for something like that. But if the couch was going to be in your magazine, then you figure out a way to get it there. So a lot of people, I mean, I've done my share of asking for things for free, and people will totally do it. But if it's for something that's not an editorial, there usually involves a rental fee.
Yeah. We're very lucky, and we very explicitly go out and try to work with our advertisers to give them some kind of editorial coverage. And in the areas of fashion and home and food, it's often very easy because we write a lot about those subjects. So, once somebody's a marketing partner of ours, there's really not a lot of resistance to our borrowing an item. I think the challenge sometimes for us is establishing those new relationships. And the phrase in our world, marketing partnership, can just be a euphemism for buy more advertising. But for us, we actually mean it. We're going to give back. We're going to work with you in as holistic a way as we can, so we can help you. Because if we can help you successfully, we're helping ourselves because you're going to stick with us. And I tell people this all the time. So actually, the folks that we work with, I don't think we really ever encounter resistance unless that there is a one of a kind item. And we're asking for it in the middle of November during the holiday selling season, and they're like, "Well, wait a minute, get it back to me in 24 hours because I want to sell it, and I don't want it to be out of my store." That's the only resistance we ever get, and then we accommodate them. We get it back very quickly,
Right.
and
And
we
take
occasionally break things that
Break
we
a
end
couple
up
things.
buying, but so there's really no downside to our marketing partners, working with us in that regard. And we've been around long enough at this point that there's a lot of trust,
Yes.
and I think that helps. So that's how we
Right.
do it, because I'm not paying rental fees.
I know. Well, I used to be
Not happening.
so nervous that I would take all merchandise that I got for photo shoots, and bring it in the house because I didn't want anybody to steal my car
Yeah.
with all the stuff in it.
Yeah.
So, but now, I mean, I bring most of the stuff that's like over a certain price point in the house, you know what I mean? And the rest of the stuff can be, totally locked up and fine. And it's scary if you do lose something. I remember doing a filings job. I had just started, and my friend and I were returning a huge $1,000 Adirondack chair to like Ipswich or something. And it was when the Tobin Bridge was not redone yet. You know, you kind of went like right.
What was this $1,000 Adirondack chair made out of?
I don't know. It was expensive. Anyway, it flew off the truck onto the Tobin Bridge, and wood went everywhere. Like WBZ was like, "There's wood and a backup because of my Adirondack chair," and I was returning it for the shoot, so I couldn't tell the client,
Oops.
You owe. No, I just ate it, paid for it, and that's what you do.
That's what we do. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a fact.
It was in my hands. It was my responsibility at that point.
What's your favorite get among all these things, like a big piece of jewelry or an expensive piece of jewelry? Or what was the one that you got that you didn't think you were going to be able to get that you needed for the shoot?
For any shoot?
Yeah. A prop or a piece of furniture or a dress or something that you didn't think, I got no shot in hell of getting this, but I'm going to take a shot anyway.
It was for an editorial in Boston, and because they had connections to all these stores, I was able to go to, you know, Neiman Marcus and pull whatever, the Gucci dress, the Chanel suit, you know, go to Prada, go to the Chanel store, go to, like, you know, they had the connections in order for me to pull. But if I talk to the fashion person in these big stores, they get it too. Like, they get that stylists are going to use their stuff, and that whoever is backing them up is going to be responsible for it.
Yeah.
You know, some people come with a handler if it's that expensive.
Well, we've had that with some high-end jewelry.
Absolutely.
You know, which is understandable. Someone's going to give you a $15,000, you know, piece of jewelry to include in a photo shoot. You know.
Yeah.
That's a little different than, you know, a sweater or something that's a couple $100, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And some stores want to make sure that you're portraying their stuff the way they would want it styled. So, I mean, I sometimes I don't have all the say. They want this dress to be with those earrings or those shoes, and that's fine. You know, it's their thing.
Yeah.
I'm here to just make sure it looks good on the model.
Did you ever have to pull an exotic car or a vintage car or something like that?
Oh, I needed a Ducati motorcycle?
Yeah.
Yep.
Am I saying it right?
I think so.
Yes, that's correct.
I had to rent it for a shoot, and they always tell you like the day before that they want a Ducati motorcycle on set tomorrow. And I remember my husband, bless his soul, is my like right arm. I'm like, Billy, I'm shopping for the clothes right now. I need a Ducati motorcycle by 9 a.m. And, you know, anyway, and this is no cell phones. This is like pre-everything. And he made phone calls. Huh?
How did we function back
I know,
then?
right?
I know. I don't even know how we did it. And he found me one. And I went in the morning. I don't know where it was, rented it, had it delivered to the studio. I still have a picture of me on the, and then had it into the studio and delivered back. And, you know, but that's when they say, you know, we have $1,000. Can you get it done in a day? Well, now I have some leverage.
Yep.
But some people, like, I have $2 and you need to buy me
Some
four
people
dinners.
like Merrimack Valley Magazine say, we have no money whatsoever, but we would like you to do this laundry list of things. And what's amazing is we get it done.
Lipstick on and get it done.
Yeah, we get it done. So, you know, I wanted to mention before we have our first sponsor is going to join us shortly.
She hasn't joined us yet.
Yeah, the owners of Hive and Forge. But Lysa, I wanted to ask you: Have you gotten out other than working? Like, have you guys gone out at all? Because obviously, I think that even though you know there are limited capacity restaurants and such, you know, a lot of people are still afraid to go out. So I'm just curious: have you and Bill sort of gotten out there a little bit?
Well, we took our annual vacation like we usually do in Ogunquit at the end of June.
Mm-hmm.
And the inn we were staying at was amazing, the Marginal Way House in Ogunquit. And Maine was...
You now need to get $100 from them for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We felt super safe. You know, they were following all the COVID, you know, restrictions and regulations. The walk over to the beach, everyone had masks on. Everyone left their masks on until they got to the beach.
Yeah.
Everyone was social distancing. So we felt like for a moment in time, we had a little normalcy. And
Yeah.
then we went and we just go out to dinner outside. I mean,
Well, I bring this up because one of our marketing partners, one of our arts organizations here in the Merrimack Valley is doing something really interesting. And as a lot of people obviously know, the arts organizations are struggling right now
So bad.
mightily because they're sort of the epitome of enclosed spaces and
Places.
people too close together and all this. So what do you do? The Palace Theater up in Manchester, which is a really fabulous place, has been open for at least a month, maybe a little bit longer now, and they've been putting on productions, and they are following very extensive safety protocols, social distancing, checking people as they come in, any number of things to keep patrons safe. And it is a very large place. It is not a small theater. I don't know exactly what their seating capacity is, but it's not small.
Right.
But there's still this issue of trust and comfort. So in order to encourage people to come in to the theater and look, there's some people who are not going to come out into the world at this point, right? And that's fine. And everybody's got to make their own decisions on that. But for those folks that feel like, what, I just want to see some live performance of anything, theater,
Right.
music. The Palace Theater is doing an amazing thing. They have got a show called the British Rock Experience that is running from October 23rd to November 14th. And tickets are free.
Wow.
Free. And they're doing this because they want to encourage people to give them a chance to
Right.
come out, experience our show at our great theater up in Manchester. And, we're not going to charge you. Just come. You can go to the Palace Theater website. You can get the tickets. And they're doing this to demonstrate to people, without people having to spend the money, that you can come, you can socially distance, you can be in a safe and enclosed, safe environment and
Right.
experience live music, live theater. And, I think it's incredible.
Yes.
It's really incredible. So we wanted to let everybody know that, reserve your free tickets to the British Rock Experience, October 23rd through 14th. Music from the Beatles, David Bowie, The Animals, Kinks, Police, Elton John, Zeppelin,
Nice.
Stones, Adele, and many,
Let's
many
go, Lou.
more.
Let's go. Let's get out of the house. Go.
They've got a whole list of safety protocols you got to follow before you get there, and then one of our editorial team, Jaden Mendola, went up to see Nonsense up there a few weeks ago, and he wrote a piece that published on Saturday or Sunday on our website. So he's already experienced firsthand, not only a great show that they saw, but the fact that all of these safety protocols are in place, and you can go check this out, because I think a lot of people are sort of really starving for that live experience. I think that's the one big thing, is that human connection that we're all sort of striving for. So please go to the Palace Theater website and get your free tickets.
Some live music would be great.
I'm going because I need it, and I miss the live performances, and you can't beat the price. So
No.
Come on down. So I see that our friends from Hive and Forge have joined us, Rachel and Jen.
Hey, Rachel. Hey, Jen.
So this is Lysa, guys. If you don't know her, are they on yet?
Yes.
Hi, Lysa.
Hi. I just styled one of your dresses and jackets yesterday with Steve.
Oh, terrific. That's the Jack Attack.
Fun.
So we're having a business meeting now? Is that what we're doing? Is this?
It was beautiful.
So Jen, Rachel, this is a new experience for you, because you've been on the 495 before, but I'm not Doug. So a little different.
Yeah, you are not Doug.
I
That's
am
true.
not Doug. I mean, we're going to leave that alone.
Neither am I.
But welcome. And Hive and Forge is a collective, an artisans collective in Salem, Mass. Not Salem, New Hampshire. Salem, Mass. Not the Valley. But what's happening in Lowell?
So just a quick, I'll give it over to Jen to talk a little bit about Hive and Forge Salem and how that happened. But as you guys know, that both Jen and I are craftspeople. And so that's how we ended up with Hive and Forge Salem, is together wanting to sort of help other craftsmen and artists move forward and sort of use our powers for good as a cooperative and a collective. So we're having a great time in Salem, and things are, we're living in a strange world. I think some of you folks might have noticed that we're living in a strange world now.
Oh yeah.
And we need to live together in order to survive, this year and the coming years. So we're bringing Hive and Forge to Lowell.
Where?
Mill number 5.
Mill number 5. Are you familiar with that location?
What's that?
Are you guys? You've been to that? You've been there before, right?
Yeah. We've been to Mill number 5, as have a lot of folks. So
just to know why, for anybody who doesn't know, Rachel also owns Red Antler Apothecary at Mill number 5 in Lowell, which is a really cool, funky space. And if people haven't been there, they should check it out. So you're opening your store. That's happening this month, or?
Yep. We're hoping to have a soft opening by Saturday, October 24th.
Okay, great.
Is what we're pushing for. And then a little grand opening towards the end of the month on the last weekend on Halloween.
Fantastic.
Is it just open on the weekends, Mill number 5?
Currently, we just extended our hours starting this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 4 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
And that's for the whole building, all the people that are in it?
All of the shops in the cafe, the Luna Theater and Dow's is still closed currently.
Okay.
Yeah. Are they limiting capacity within the space?
yes, for sure. It's actually a very safe space to shop because of how careful and well thought out things are. You can come up multiple staircases. You can come up the elevator. There is limited capacity in all the different locations. And then on top of that, there's an incredible HVAC system. And the windows are open.
Yeah.
And the mill is enormous.
Right.
Yeah, I
So
think
you're
that's
kind of hard pressed to bump into somebody.
Yeah, that's great. I think I've been there at times when it's been, things going on, and it's not really been that crowded even then. So, and I think the whole, air circulation and filtration that a lot of businesses are installing are really key to getting things closer back to normal. But if people can't get out to Mill number 5 or can't get to Salem to go to one of your physical stores, your website's quite extensive. And you can do e-commerce right there and buy all these cool things from local artisans, or local, not Merrimack Valley exclusively, but New England primarily, you told me. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep. I mean, we have about 30 different members of our space. And I schedule pop-ups all the time with other folks and consignment members. Try to keep things fresh. Get new eyes on our store by doing something different and fun and bringing a new artist in, and we have such a great community of Salem with a lot of regulars that come in all the time.
Right.
And it's just nice to do something different for them too, and always just have something new for them to see. We just changed the whole store around and gave it a new flow too, and we just try to keep it fresh, keep it going along with the season, and
Well, I love it, and when I went to the website, I was immediately struck. I mean, obviously we're all about supporting local everything that we can, and you guys are really doing the same thing. And I think around this time of year when people start thinking about the holidays and gift giving, obviously not only supporting local business but supporting solo artisans who are crafting things. And I know that I've already found something at your shop, an artist who I'm not only going to probably buy some things from, but we're going to feature in the magazine at some point, just because I think their work is fantastic. And I, sent the link over to Doug right away and said, hey, have you ever heard of this person? It's they're at Hive and Forge, and I love it. I think he agrees. And yeah, that's terrific.
Yeah.
Let's put that on the list of things to write about in 2021. So, I mean, it's being able to discover things that way. And again, they're local folks, looking at, New England more holistically, not just the Valley, but, and this particular person's in Manchester, so they are in the Valley. So it's really, very exciting. So, well, thanks for joining us. today. Lysa, thank you for coming on. It's great
Thank you.
to have
It was
you
so
on. Lou,
much
it's good.
fun.
Lou, it's good to see you again.
Yeah, good to have you back.
And you know, you guys will probably see me again when Doug takes his next vacation in 6 to 9 months. Doug Sparks will be back next week hosting the 495. I'm not sure who the guest is, but thanks, everybody.
I don't have one.
Thanks
Thank
again.
you guys so much. It was nice meeting you.
Take care,
Nice
guys.
meeting you too, Lisa.
Bye.
Bye.